Hey everyone, I'm Guy. I'm the founder of Secret, if you don't know me. And if you don't know Secret, Secret is building confidential smart contracts on Cosmos. We're actually one of the first Cosmos and chains after Terra, if that's an important bit. So I've been 10 years in the space, and I think I'm only realizing right now that privacy is such a loaded term that we actually may not want to use it as much, or at least we really got to fix that misconception. And the misconception of privacy, and I'm sure that all of you are thinking about it or have thought about it in your ventures in the blockchain space, is that when people tell you privacy in blockchains, you immediately think of private transactions. Basically, you're thinking of Zcash, Tornado Cash, protecting your data and anonymizing your transactions. And that leads you to this discussion where the regulators are saying everything needs to be compliant, we need to fix money laundering. There are people who are saying, look, we're individuals, we want to protect our own privacy. And all of that is important, but it also doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because when we think about privacy in such a narrow view, we miss out of all of the applications that privacy can unlock. And actually, I've started to more and more use this term encryption, which is actually, it's not one-to-one with privacy, like encryption enables privacy, but at the same time, people don't have that kind of background or history with encryption as they do with privacy. But if I say privacy or encryption, I mean the same thing. Another way to illustrate this is just to show a list of use cases where it doesn't matter if you care about your data or not, but it does matter that you care about privacy because otherwise those use cases are not possible. So for example, MEV protection. Everyone talks about MEV. There's like 10 new startups about MEV pretty much every day now. MEV is a privacy problem. The problem is that when transactions enter the mempool in plain text and they're not encrypted, then everyone can see your transaction and reorder it to gain an edge on you. You're losing value, and even if you don't care about your data, you're losing value. Someone else is taking that value because our transactions are not encrypted. And at Secret, we're really trying to focus more and more on those use cases. Like on Secret Network, you can build applications that are MEV resistant, that get like randomness on chain, that do all this cool stuff, and you could have been doing that for like 3 years. However, let's face it, Secret is, it's a blip on the radar right now, right? It's like a fraction of Cosmos. It's one of the more active Cosmos chains, but even Cosmos as a whole is like, very, very small compared to everyone else in crypto, and it's very small compared to everyone else who's not using crypto. And we're basically trying to push this idea of privacy in a service which allows other chains to just interact with Secret and gain those benefits without actually even knowing that they're building on Secret. I want to touch 2 examples, like more of a deep dive. One of them is unstoppable wallets. So unstoppable wallets, before we can explain what they are, let's explain what wallets are, which I'm sure most of you know. Wallets are private keys. Private keys, they're just a very long string of characters or a very long number that you have to protect at all costs. Again, it has private in the name. You need to keep it private. So you care about privacy, but you don't care about the privacy of your private key because you care about your data. You just don't want anyone to be able to steal your funds, or you want to protect it so you don't lose it, so you don't lose access to your funds. Now, there's obviously a problem with private keys because they are a single point of failure. You lose your key, you lose access to your funds, or someone steals it. So that's why people invented multi-sigs, which everyone knows what they are. Basically, don't have one key, but have multiple keys, and multiple people needed to actually spend those funds. And there's another way to implement multi-sig. That's basically MPC wallets. If you don't know what MPC is, it doesn't matter. Just think of them as multi-sig. They are the same thing. There are some technical differences, but they're not the important part. Now, most companies today that deploy MPC wallets, and these are big companies like Fireblocks or Coinbase now, and many others, what they're essentially doing is that they are your co-signer. So if you sign a transaction, Fireblocks or Coinbase would also sign with their key, and only then can you spend your funds. Now this is already much better, because if someone breaks, like takes your key, like, or well, if you lose it, it's a problem. But if someone takes your key, you don't lose access to your funds. However, that model is still kind of broken, because if Fireblocks or Coinbase or any other services like that goes down, you lose availability to use your funds. And it's even more problematic because these services, they are profit-generating services, which makes sense. And they are closed source. And if you want to add a new asset type, or if you want to add a new kind of like policy to their engine, or if you want to do all kinds of cool things, you're going to have to call them, your account manager, pay a lot of money, and convince them that it's worth putting their dev team to actually improve those features. And kind of like in Web3, we would really want to replace like that part, not with a service provider, but with a smart contract. And this now starts to get closer to this idea of account abstraction, where you have a smart contract wallet that is managing your funds. The problem with account abstraction is that you can only use it on the same chain that you deployed. But on Secret, and that's really the idea of Unstoppable Wallets, is that you can have an MPC wallet where you have one key, or maybe several users have like one key each. Then the chain has another key. And now you can program that smart contract to basically do whatever you want. You want to program it to sign Ethereum transactions? That's fine. You want to program it to make sure that it's a DAO, and that DAO can't actually spend more than 10K a day? That's fine. You can do all that. Just one more note about this. This was actually a very, very hard problem to solve. I'm not going to go into the details. If you're very technical, I suggest you go and read the paper. There's some really cool use cases there. It involves a bunch of cryptography, and the goal was actually how do we do MPC wallets on chain that are very, very fast and only take like one transaction. So again, if you're interested, go read there. It has all the details. And really, this is the key part, right? Like, I think that if you are in EthCC, everyone's talking about account abstraction. But to me, account abstraction is like A, a form of privacy as a service, but B, it is the right way to go, but it's the right way to go if we build a cross-chain interoperable account abstraction, not something where you have to deploy it for every rollup, for every chain, for every system independently. Another cool aspect, and again, I'm giving these examples because these are good examples to show you that it's not about you caring about your data. It's about where you need privacy in your day-to-day life, regardless of what you do. So another good example is VRF, so essentially randomness. All solutions for randomness today, they are off-chain. And at Secret, we basically develop what we call Secret VRF, and that is a way to generate on-chain randomness that is unpredictable and that you can use in things like NFT mints, casino gaming, poker, wherever you need unpredictability. And the point is that you could have used these, like NFTs on Secret have been using these for like 2 years, but as of 2 months ago, now you can do this on all IBCs. So it doesn't matter, like you're operating on Stargaze, you can use this for your mint, you're operating elsewhere, you can use Secret VRF for your applications. And I think this doesn't work. Skrilla, correct me, doesn't work right now, right? All right, so we were supposed to have a demo of the roulette. I actually don't like gambling, but it's a fun application to try out. It uses Secret VRF to basically show you how that's used in real life. We were supposed to have a demo. It's not working now, but if you go to the website, then you can play with it. It's a lot of fun. We usually do it at our events. But these are 2 examples of privacy as a service. But what does the future hold? right? Like so what more can we do with these? And what more can we do with these, not just on Secret, but beyond? So another way to think about it is that Secret is essentially bringing encryption to the Interchain. Now, again, it's native on Secret. If you're developing an app on Secret, you can do that you could have done that for a long time. If you're developing on Cosmos, then we've been integrating that with Cosmos on any chain in the past few months, and you can do that today. But the elephant in the room is, what about other ecosystems, right? At the end of the day, let's face it, and this is maybe not so popular, but Cosmos is probably the best tech that we have. It's where all of the cool builders are coming. It's where all of the cool ideas are coming. It's much more sophisticated because generally the entry barrier is higher. So you also get very, very capable developers and good ideas are coming in. And eventually those ideas propagate back to the Ethereum ecosystem. But Cosmos itself needs users. It doesn't have enough users. Even Secret is like a top 5 chain in terms of activity in Cosmos is, again, a blip on the radar. Like, we got to work together as an ecosystem to bring the users or meet the users where they are. Looking at the ETH ecosystem, the Ethereum ecosystem needs privacy. Vitalik is talking about it. People are talking about it. These things are needed not just in Cosmos, but pretty much everywhere, and especially on the EVM ecosystems. And basically, we've spent quite a lot of time. Like, this is an ongoing discussion in the last 6 months. And today, we're announcing, or at least putting a statement out, that Secret is actually starting to look at how to better integrate with Ethereum. And with the stated goal of bringing more users to Secret, but bringing more users to Secret means bringing more users to Cosmos, because that's how the flow works. So we actually figured that we've already been working on phase 0 of this, let's say, integration and expansion for quite a few months. And that didn't came from us. That came from the market demand, I'd say. We've had projects that came to us and said they really need privacy for certain aspects, but they're deployed on Ethereum. They're not deployed on Secret or even in Cosmos. So for example, BeatShop, they're doing a very cool, one of the most sophisticated private auction mechanisms, but they need the bids to be private. However, NFT liquidity and liquidity in general does not live in Cosmos. It lives on Ethereum. So they are deployed on Ethereum, but they actually worked with our team for many months to do the bridging correctly so that they can route all the secure auctions through Secret while still being deployed on Ethereum. And we realized like that infrastructure can actually be, we can replicate that to other use cases. Another example is what I told you about. So I told you about unstoppable wallets. I told you this is basically the basis of cross-chain account abstraction. Well, we actually already have like at least 2 teams that's been operating somewhat in stealth on these, like OB and Prime Vault. And actually, there's a few others that I can't share right now. And there's already quite a few companies building on Ethereum that are coming to us. And again, I can't say their names yet, but are actually already building towards that. Now, looking ahead, what we're looking for really at phase 1 and beyond is, okay, how can we systemize that? And that's kind of like what we're doing today. We're starting by adding XLR general message passing bridge in our next upgrade. This is going to still happen this year. And that way you can basically systemize this idea of routing from Ethereum to Secret to do like a private oracle, if you will, and then back to an Ethereum contract. That will be phase 1 coming this year, and we're exploring other bridging solutions. By the way, if you're operating on a general message passing bridge, come talk to us. This is relevant to us. And then phase 2, which I think phase 2 is where it takes longer, but that's actually where we want to get to. Phase 2 and beyond is about creating a seamless experience for developers and users. And I've had a lot of conversations in the last week with founders in Cosmos, with founders on Ethereum, and all of them are saying the same thing. At the end of the day, Cosmos, like people are going to use Cosmos, but they're not necessarily going to feel that they're using Cosmos. And that is the right approach to take, and that is the right mindset that we want to go into the next phases beyond phase 1. So we have a booth up there where we can talk more and we can share a lot of stuff. Feel free to follow Secret or myself and talk to us. We're very excited about this thing. We're very excited about this expanding roadmap. And hopefully you are too, especially if you're builders. We're very excited to talk. Thank you very much.